Thank you very much for your time, Jigar.
No, it's really great to be here. Especially looking at so many professionals giving such great advices, and I actually attended the first session. It was amazing. I mean, the thing that you are doing for the community, the knowledge sharing part is really great. And I really I feel privileged to be here and be able to share some of my knowledge and understandings from the business that I have been doing. So let me actually start sharing my screen. You can see my screen, right?
Yes, I can see your screen. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay, wonderful. So today's agenda, again, power of business intelligence. So, there is often so many things that we hear about business intelligence, data analytics, and things like that. But, really at its core, what it is, helping the company in their decision making. So I'll try to provide chunks of what is being done in the industry and what I have been doing, and what are the best practices, and also I'll speak about some of the understandings that I had while working with regards to Power BI, and things that are associated with that. So this is the short agenda. So first of all, before moving on to the slides, I would like to just convey who I am. So I basically completed masters in data analytics from National College of Ireland, and basically my expertise lies in business intelligence and data analytics. But it's not just restrained to that. During my time working as data analyst, I have experienced that a data analyst has to wear multiple hats, right? So when they are working, they work as business analysts at times to understand the business processes, get the requirements. They also work as BI experts. They have to be good at training, and it's kind of a dynamic job, and that's really the thing that I really enjoy about this. Every day is a new challenge, and every day is really bringing up new opportunities to work in. So that's me, and I currently work in Allegion as a data analyst. Moving forward, uh, let me tell you the biggest challenge that people face while implementing a BI solution. It's not the tool, it's not the technology, it's not the data. The biggest challenge is actually convincing the stakeholders and convincing whoever is going to use this solution to actually use that, right? So it's always the case that people are so used to their old way of working, making decisions on the basis of gut, their business knowledge. They often have a hard time at the start to really trust the data and trust that this will help them. So building of trust journey is really crucial in the start. So once you provide that trust within the solution, then you can start implementing really great solutions in analytics. But the first part is the most difficult part, is to actually make them understand how this can help them. So I just wanted to give some overview of how business intelligence can help, and whether businesses even need BI capabilities or not, right? So it's the very first question that we get, that after 10, 15 years, why would I really need this? So there are multiple reasons. I mean, the way people have been working in the industry, they are obviously experts at things. But when it comes to BI, it actually empowers you, and it actually adds on the top of knowledge that you have. So I just wanted to highlight few points here. So the very first thing that that is very obvious is that basically helps you know your business. So obviously, it's like a feedback loop. Whenever you are working, you kind of get whether something is working or not, right? You get through the figures, whether it's sales, operations, supply chain, inventory, anything. It really helps you understand whether your business is working fine or not, whether the strategies that you have implemented is working fine or not. So that is a huge point, very obvious but very important point that I have felt. uh, basically, again, I would say if you are implementing a very good BI solution, it also improves decision making process. If you are able to provide insights and actionable insights, that will really help them, improve the kind of decisions they are making. And those decisions are not just gut decisions; those are data backed and with solid proof, right? So few other points that I wanted to just mention. I won't really get into detail. So first of all, it's easy to access and share information. Again, obvious point. Enables real-time analysis with quick navigation. Again, very obvious. This one helps identify waste in the system. That is also a good point because often when we are working in the business, we really have a lot of obstructions when we actually using it. So sometimes it really helps us identify, what are the problems within the business and what I should remove and filter out from my regular operations. And then again, a very synonymous point with that is reduces the risk of bottlenecks. Again, BI, sometimes when humans work within the business, they are prone to human errors. Business is prone to human errors. But when the decisions that they are making are data backed, that really improves the trust and the kind of ability for the business to implement the right task and right decisions backed on perfect data. So all in all, you see that uh, this things, if you present it on the very first day, business does not get that. You have to build that trust while implementing the BI solutions. So it's not very straightforward to just mention them and they'll agree, but it's a difficult journey. So this is the most important challenge and most difficult challenge that I have been facing as a BI expert. Moving forward, uh, this is often a myth, about Power BI or business intelligence in general, that using BI solution or creating BI solutions is just creating graphs, reports, dashboards. It's not that. I mean, this is the biggest misconception that I have seen with the business, with the people, that it's just graphs and reports and all fancy colors and everything. It's not that. It's really more than that. One thing that I have realized working in this domain is you almost never get the data in the form that you need. So it's always structured, unstructured. Sometimes you don't even have the data. You have to make some efforts to get the data. So usually when you're working in a company, you have some databases, ERPs where you get the data, but sometimes those data is just not enough. You have to bring in data from multiple different sources. For example, we have multiple keynote sessions on Power Apps. So you will see that Power Apps is a great tool where you can run the business processes. And actually the data coming from that business processes, you can create reports on that, and then it becomes a feedback loop, whether things are going well or not. Some of the examples would be in a manufacturing plant, they are using the Power Apps in order to track some activity. So all of those tracking and logging, you can import that in Power BI. You can work around that and try to really create the feedback loop where you're actually understanding whether the business processes are efficient or not. So that is one such example of that. Power Automation, again, a great tool to really consolidate the data, move the data basically from here to there, without actually manually doing that, right? One great example would be, sometimes business, what they do is they really love Excel. So what they do is they do everything manually, download something from mail, they do some VLOOKUPs and everything, then again mail that report to someone else, he'll do something, and it's all manual process. And when you actually want to import that to Power BI, again, you will do it manually, right? But Power Automate in those cases really is beneficial, where you can actually pass that data, move around that data without actually, manually doing anything. So you can literally, automate 100% of that data transfer process and data movement within the organization with Power Automate. So again, a very strong and powerful tool that you can use and leverage for your own, needs. Some of the tools we also use is Microsoft Forms. Basically, Microsoft Forms, where you can actually collect the data and collect the data from the stakeholders, business processes, a lot of things, and actually get that data inside the environment and try to understand some insights. One great example is surveys, right? Survey is a great example where you can take inputs from multiple people and then analyze the trends, sentiments within the business. Similarly, page-rated reports, we have SharePoint. One great example is sometimes it's not always possible to pass the data in data warehouse, data lakes. So during those times, you can really create structured process and structured database where you can store all the files and import those files into folders, and then Power Query can basically import all the files from that SharePoint environment. So that's really a great tool when working with small processes where moving that data into data warehouse, data lakes doesn't really make sense, and that is a long process to implement, right? But these tools really come in handy when you're actually working within the business in small processes. So that's pretty much it. So you will see everywhere that there are points mentioned: act on data during analysis, analyze the data, exhaust from apps. So multiple things you can do. This is just one example, one use case that I have mentioned, but there are so many things that you can do with that integration, right? And all of this coming from the Microsoft environment really makes it easy to integrate few things. Moving forward, uh, again, a very biggest eye opener for me working in this field was there's a difference between reporting and analytics, right? You always think that the Power BI reports that you see is really helping you, but trust me when I say this: reporting is just 50% of the task. But once you actually achieve reporting, the real game changer and real business changer is when you actually start leveraging the use of analytics. I'll come to that point, but before I move to those comparison, it is really important to speak about prerequisites to perform any kind of reporting and analytics. This is the thing that you need to take care in the very beginning, right? So the very first thing, well-defined business process. So it's really important before you actually implement any BI solution. It's important that you really understand the business process well. And sometimes we get into a loop of just understanding the requirements, getting requirements from business, and directly just working on the business requirements. In that way, what happens is you don't really focus on the process and you just build on the basis of requirement. But what happens due to that is basically there is a lot of rework, there is a lot of duplication of things. For example, multiple departments might be following the same business process, but since it is requirement based thinking, it will always they will always create new reports for that, and that will basically create ample of reports within the business, giving the same information. So whenever implementing BI solution, it's really important to understand the business process and then build as per that, so that it is scalable and you can leverage that reports multiple areas, and multiple stakeholders can leverage that. Second thing I would mention is master data quality. The master data quality should be really great, because uh, or else when you are actually data modeling, you won't be able to get that level of insights. So master data quality really comes in handy when you actually want to slice and dice data with regards to the operational data that you get, that is for sales operations, whatever the processes, inventory. It's really important that you really have good master data quality. By master data quality, what I mean is, let's say every company has some products, maybe products or customers, we have locations. So those are all the master data fields, but it's really important that you govern that understand the business, and then try to understand the data quality and finalize quality before actually implementing. I would say making the reports is just 5% of the task. 95% of the task of data analyst and BI analyst goes into understanding business process, creating that master data quality. Again, robust data modeling should be really great before you actually jump into the reports, or else you will provide the wrong data to the stakeholders. So, and finally, the final point that I really realized after actually working as a professional is working as data analyst really requires you to be really good at training, because it's not just that you create the solutions and give it to the stakeholders. It's really important that you actually train them to use the reports that you have created. If you create 10 different reports with good analytics, but if the user doesn't know how to actually leverage that in the best possible way, it will be of no use to you. So again, training is really important while implementing those. So now coming to the comparison, I would say reporting is nothing but really focusing on what is happening in the business, how is the business doing, and all of those questions, historical trends and everything comes in the reporting part, where you're actually looking at how the business is running, right? So that's basically all about reporting. You basically convert the data that you get from your operations, and you just convert that to summarized information, so that they can look at the trends, look at the data, look at the graphs, and then make crucial decision. But this is just 50% of things. Once you achieve this reporting part, the real game changer comes when you actually start implementing analytics. So analytics really focus on the whys. So let's say something happened within the business, you understand something has happened, but reporting never gives you or never tells you that why it has happened and what you can do about it. So basically analytics, when you speak about analytics in a very layman language, I would say it really focus on why, and then basically tell you what to do in order to work around that, or really change that process, or maybe make some crucial decisions that can help you with your business process, or any of the things that you want. So in summary, it would always be data to actionable insights. That's really it. You basically help the business make quick actions on the basis of that. Sometimes even small decisions that you make can create big impact on organization level. So it can really change the game when you are actually creating or implementing analytics as a part of BI solution. So you might be thinking, what are some good examples for reporting analytics, right? Reporting, I would say everyone knows: sales, orders, invoicing, all of those are good examples. Inventory, all of those are good examples of reporting. You basically, analyze how these things are going on, how the sales is. But when it comes to analytics, I really wanted to, show you a glimpse of some of the best works and some of the best projects that we have been I had the opportunity to work on. So without ado, I'll go to that slide. I would say this is the most interesting and most engaging slide, I feel. And it's not just slide, but whenever I talk to people within the business, when I talk to people about these things, people really get a shocker that this is the power of business intelligence. So this is where things start changing, and it has real effect on changing how you are making decisions. So these are some four use cases that I wanted to talk about. Very first, marketing analytics. There was this company which shall be stay unnamed, but there was this direct selling company who basically was creating all the marketing strategies. And during COVID times, what happened is their sales directly hiked, and basically dropped, and they could not understand the reasons behind it. So you know uh, there was a series of surveys that we took. So again, I would say, coming back to the point, it is not that you always get the data right. They were getting the sales data. They knew that something is wrong and sales is not doing as well. And the salesmen, the direct salesmen, that actually work in the direct sales industry, that basically they were demotivated for some reason, but people didn't know why, right? So a survey was taken, even one survey was taken before the COVID era, and one survey was taken after the COVID era. So basically what happens is, often the marketing or sales effort always depends on the ability to sell and the motivation. So all in all, it always comes down to the sentiment, right? So it's really important what is going wrong and what salesmen are actually thinking. So it's really important what motivates. And this the structure of this organization was so different that uh, during the survey taken pre-COVID, there was this question which was asked where what motivates you to work in this XYZ company and really make good sales. So it was a real shocker. I think most of you might be thinking that money really motivates, right? You might be thinking salary is the one, or you might be thinking the commissions, but wrong. The survey results which we took and the sentiments that we understood from the salesman was the recognition and ratings were the actual game changer. They really were really concerned about the recognition. They wanted that recognition throughout the company that they did something well, and that that kind of acknowledgement really goes a long way. That was a point when I realized it's not always about money. So we 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 understood the business is doing things in the wrong way. So basically business was focused on really motivate people by showing the money, but money was never really the priority in that particular business. They really were concerned about how I can make my mark here, how I can bring my name above. So that was a real game changer. And after that point, company really changed its efforts towards motivating people, and they really started the recognition thing, and that brought a big change in the morale and overall feeling of the salespeople. So this is just one example, but there were multiple areas or multiple things that were analyzed during this, and actually trying to understand what kind of salesman should go to what kind of areas. Since it's direct selling, every salesman is different, right? So every salesman has different strengths. Someone is really good at communication, someone is really good at product knowledge, someone is really educated, someone is not that educated. So it really depends in what kind of area you are going, what kind of salesman is actually approaching which area. For example, if the salesmen are just randomly going to the areas, it won't work. If someone who is not really good at communication, English speaking, if he goes to some area where there is really posh crowd who are actually really well educated, they won't entertain that guy, right? And if someone who is really good at communication only speaks English, he goes to some area where there is not a lot of literate crowd, so in that case it won't work as well. So it's really important you kind of map both of them together so that you actually make an impact. So this might be looking you might feel that this is very small change that you bring in, but trust me, these small decisions that and in strategy that you really make a big impact on the longer run. So this was a really great example that I wanted to share with you. And this is also an example where the misconception about you can only work with the data that you have goes wrong, because in this case we actually created data in order to work around some solutions and really drive the business decisions. So it's not always you get the data, you often have to create data in order to do some analysis. Second use case, product lifecycle management. uh, Basically it goes for every product company that you really need to understand your product portfolio. What are the strengths of each product category, what each product is meant for, and which are the star performers, right? So there is this analytical method, price volume mix, let's say, that really helps to understand the revenue in depth. So by revenue, what I mean is the revenue variance, right? So with regards to previous year's performance. So let's say the companies are already analyzing, what happened with regards to previous year, but none of the companies actually try to understand why that was the change, right? We often stop ourselves just comparing our performance with regards to previous year, but the real value lies in really trying to understand what really changed that, let's say what decreased the sales or what decreased something, or what increase something. So it's really important to understand why, and then on the basis of that, trying to give recommendation what you can do to improve that scenario, right? So again, I will come back to the point. How is your product portfolio, which products to focus on, right? How you can really build a good portfolio where you are selling good margin products, where you have really good salesmen trying to understand the best products to sell, right? Every time when someone is reaching out to the customer, there might be multiple options, but it's really important what salesmen can focus on. So this product lifecycle management does not end there. It has its influence in multiple areas of the business. So product lifecycle management, when it comes to product company, it's really a huge one. Third is RFM analysis. So LRFM basically. So it's nothing but recency, frequency, monetary. So it's really important to know some aspects of the business, right? Let's say these are all the three master fields that you often see: customers, salesmen, product, right? So with regards to customer, right, what is RFM? I'll just quickly explain that in short. If you can see in this logo itself, it explains it is based on quadrants, and basically it tries to understand the recency, that is how recently something has happened; frequency, how frequently some things is happening; and monetary is basically how much value and how much monetary aspect is being impacted. If we take the first example, customer analytics, who are the valuable customers? If we bring this same thing in LRFM, you will try to understand who recently who was the recent customer who actually ordered something. With regards to frequency, how who are our good customers. And finally monetary, who is bringing in big orders and big invoicing, right? So using that, you basically plot the graphs and you try to understand which lie in the best quadrants. And you will try to I'll relate this with something else in the next slides, and you will immediately get what I mean by this RFM analysis. But anyways, similarly it goes with sales analysis. Who is doing great work consistently, who recently sold something, who is frequently who is a consistent performer, really bringing the order, who actually bringing in the biggest sales, let's say. So you kind of have combine all of those aspects in a graph and try to understand which are our best performers. Again, with regards to products, again the same thing, which products do well consistently. You get method, but there are multiple methods that you can deploy to really understand your business as a whole. Fourth use case, market basket analysis. That's basically POS. So again, some of the project that I was really lucky to work with, uh, it was to actually understand how things are happening on the ground level. For example, in this case, POS. So POS is nothing but to give you a very layman example, let's say DMart, or you consider any grocery store. So every grocery store, you see there are some systems where there are some transactions, billing happening. So you often get that information from those transaction bills, and you try to understand uh, what is actually happening within the mind of the customer. So when someone is actually going at the shopping mart, he's buying some things, he does not know he has some pattern into it, but often there is always a pattern in the decisions that you are making when you're actually going to grocery shopping. So really looking at those bills, those transaction number, every bill has some transaction number, right? So every transaction number, you see there are some combination of products. So in all, you basically bring in that POS data, and every transaction number has entries of multiple products, right? So you basically then analyze which products were brought together, and you'll often find that there are some patterns coming inside, right? You can run machine learning models, try to understand that pattern. The machine learning models will itself give some patterns, and you will try to understand, and you will get, there are some patterns, and then you can create the strategy as per that, right? So basically that market basket analysis really helps to understand what you should be selling together as a combination. So you often see those combo offers, right? So those are often a result of such kind of analysis. So often some people do it on the basis of business knowledge, but when you actually do it on the basis of data backed, it really changes the game. So again, this kind of analysis also helps us understand the demand coming from that. I'll take a pause for a second, just for you to really absorb this information. I know, sometimes when I am speaking about something, you often uh, try to get into that zone and try to understand what is happening. So four different areas, four different kind of analytics, really changing the business in a way how you are making the decisions, right? And these decisions, even small decisions, become big decisions when actually implemented at organization scale. So enterprise level decisions really change the revenue or whatever you are trying to achieve. So really pausing, really taking a pause to for you to absorb this, and then I'll move to the next slide. So finally, again a hot topic here. We have been hearing Power BI a lot when we speak about BI. So I'll tell you the reasons why you should use Power BI for your business, or how important or how effective this tool is. And it's not just a tool, right? It's not just about the tool, it's often about multiple things, and that you will understand in the following slide. But let us first speak about all the news Power BI has been making. So this is actually from an article. You can see it's 25th March 2022. It has become the winner on the topmost right quadrant for the fourth consecutive year. So really a leader in terms of all of those tools available in the market. You will see multiple tools here, Click, Tableau, multiple different things, but you will often see Microsoft lies on the top. And there might be a reason why they have mentioned just Microsoft and not Power BI, because the real game changer is the Microsoft environment, and you'll know that when I actually go to the next slide. But again, since there is a quadrant here, I just wanted to relate that to the previous example that I gave about recency frequency monitoring. So this is how you actually plot that. you know you have two quadrants here. You basically plot each of those, let's say recency and frequency, in this way. And basically, as per the plots, you try to understand where some products or customers or salesmen lie. For example, if this is the recency, it will show how the days, in terms of days. So how recently someone has bought, so it will come somewhere here, let's say. And how frequently someone is ordering, let's say if that is on this axis, that will basically show you how frequently they are ordering, let's say every day, or things like that. Then you can plot those points, and then you try to understand where it lies. So all in all, I just wanted you to relate via this example, because you are really used to seeing this kind of graphs. So this is how you actually work around trying to understand those analytic methods. So usually this is how I actually train people and users. All of this will connect to you now, that this is how I actually train people, not using the actual example, but I try to explain using some example that they can relate to. In this case, I just wanted to relate using this news that Microsoft created, right? They have been on the top, and it's very similar approach that I take usually as well. So now I'll tell you the second biggest reason why Microsoft is leading this game, right? You see the amount of tools and technologies that Microsoft has. I mean, it's really surprising. It's shocking to see, how many things you can get, in this environment. And it's not just tools, but the integration between all of those tools and technologies is just wonderful. I mean, I can't stress enough on how easy it is to, really have the data movement between one tool and technology. So the biggest game changer for Microsoft, I feel, is the integration. And that is the reason Microsoft Power BI is doing so well in the previous years. That is the reason I like working in Power BI, because the integration is just amazing. And you will see these are the BI tools. Again, a funny thing to see here is someone had created a periodic table of Microsoft 365. So I have been seeing that, in my schooling, there was this chemistry table that was present, but you can see someone has created a periodic table. Imagine the amount of tools, and imagine the amount of productivity you can get in the BI solution if you are able to integrate so many things from different areas. So I would say the biggest game changer for Power BI is the seamless integration. And finally, the biggest game changer and biggest eye opener for me working as data analyst or in this field was this Power BI adoption, right? And this is taken from the Microsoft official website. you know they really have shown a way to the business to really change the game. Basically, I'll tell you in a very simple example. There is only so much you can do by hiring people. There is only so many people you can hire as data analysts to create reports, right? And there is only so many things that you can do as an individual to contribute as a reports, right? Report development. But there is some limitations there. But Power BI Microsoft has given such a great example on how you can really change the business process itself. So they have given this roadmap where you can actually create that data maturity journey within the business. You basically work with the people who are actually doing the best jobs. Let's say salespeople, we have people from operations, we have people from finance, we have people from IT, from different areas. We have people from multiple manufacturing plants, we have inventory people. All of them are actually used to using Excel. So Excel has been the game changer previously. But if you see, if people are trained in Power BI and tools like this, they can really change the game by automating few things, and automating the way that they are doing things. So this was the roadmap, and it was a real eye opener, because if you are actually working within the business, training people as you go, and bringing that data maturity and data quality and data proficiency within the business, and if you actually train and empower people with the right data, if you help them model the data right, rest of the things is easy, right? The remaining 5% of the job is just to create reports out of that. And every single stakeholder can create reports for themselves on the basis of their own needs. Now, one more pain point that we are facing as business, as data analysts, were whenever you create some solution, even if you create 10 different tabs, different reports on the same thing, if you provide all kind of game changing analytics, but business would often end up using only things that he feels that is important. Maybe sometimes it's always maybe a table, right? So the difference comes when the business themselves are empowered to create reports by themselves. If they are given the right data, if the data modeling is right and everything goes well, they can themselves create things for them. And that way, at least there is no difference in expectations, right? So I have seen people in IT often complain about changing expectations. Client doesn't know what he needs. People, stakeholder basically doesn't know what he actually needs. But during those times when you're actually training people on the tool, it really changes the game. So this is the model companies can employ. I am sure there might be people from the business who own business. There might be professionals, there might be people from IT, non-technical, but this goes for everyone. Everyone can be trained on this tool, because creating reports is not difficult. If you are empowered with the right data, if you are empowered with the right training, literally everyone from the business can do things. And then the data analyst and the actual BI analyst can focus on creating reports for executives. So this really changes the game when you are actually improving the data maturity of a company from within the roots. So this is the roadmap. So this is the line that I have I myself have created: working with the business for the business. You basically empower the people. So you see from this graph, there are content consumers, right? Over here, you see self-service content creators and subject matter experts. So SMEs can be from different areas, mechanical, anything, right? So you basically train them with the right tools, right data, empower them with the right things, and then they can do wonders in their own business processes. And then finally, to govern those community of practice champions, you basically train a few people who are really good with technicals. You create a center of excellence. You basically train people to actually govern all of these activities, because when you actually give the power to the business to create reports, it often becomes a chaos. So in order to govern those, you need people who are really good with technicals and management, where you actually train people on center of excellence, and you create basically center of excellence for each entity, or each area or business area. So
Hi, Jigar, just
yep,
time check. Our
yep,
attendees are waiting lobby.
okay. So this anyways is the last slide that I had. So here's my mail ID, LinkedIn ID, and Twitter. uh, Feel free to reach out if you are facing any technicalities. If you want to know anything about the session, do let me know. But now I'll hold on to any questions if you might be having.
Thank you, Jigar. It was a wonderful session, and I would personally say that it is very informative, and I learned a lot. So I would request attendees, if they have any questions, they can post in the Teams chat, or if they don't have any question right now, it seems that they are still trying to digest the question content. So they will contact you.
Yep.
As you have already shared your contact information. Thanks a lot for the session and time.
Thank you.
Thank you.